Hey there, gang. This is White Panther coming to you from Tucson, Arizona with episode 7 of volume 4 of our video series Inside the Panther's Lair. Today we'll be talking about a song called I Miss Her. I mentioned in the last video, maybe it was the video before that, we'll find out soon enough. Once again, White Panther is not prepared, and White Panther keeps smacking at the microphone. I'll eventually get that done, I promise. Anyway, I mentioned in the last video or so that as songwriters, we were kind of half frustrated actors and actresses because to perform a song well, you really have to sink your whole self into it. You have to be in that moment. Imagine yourself living the lyrics that you're delivering. As a creative writer, as a songwriter, you get to take yourself and hopefully also the listener places both that you've been to or places that you've imagined well enough to be able to bring someone else there with you. I did mention in one or two of the videos in the previous volumes of the series that my relationship with my daughter has been, I'll be nice and say, somewhat strained. So when you hear the subject matter of this particular song, again, this is a truly imagined scenario. Her mom is still alive and well and kicking. See how nice I said that. Let me lay the groundwork for writing the song. I would really love to tell you that there was why can I not remember the name of the movie? It's so obvious. Steve Martin, Father of the Bride. Yes, Father of the Bride. There was a moment where I believe it's the night before the wedding, and he's out in the driveway shooting hoops with his little girl, and it starts to snow, and he says something along the lines of, I just know that I'll always remember this moment. And I'd love to be able to say that it was him. It might have been the gal who played his daughter who said that. But there was that moment. And amidst all of the madness in the movie, it's always about doing what's right for his daughter. Let me lay out the scenario for the song. It's dad's daughter's wedding day. Mom has since passed. Doesn't matter the time frame. It's just that mom's not there to witness the event. And there's all the usual celebration and all the usual rituals that go along with a wedding and a reception. And one of the traditions is the father-daughter dance. And I envision Dad there out on the dance floor, holding this little girl and looking down into her eyes and being just overwhelmed by the fact that his bride could not be there to witness this, that her mom was not there. And just being on the verge of breaking down, knowing how much his little girl is hurting because her mom couldn't be there. And looking in her eyes, wiping away a tear, and just letting her know that even though she's not physically there, mom is there with them. That she has to be. Because every time he looks into his daughter's eyes, he misses her mom. Funny how songs are as powerful as they are. They're just words and vibrations that we put off into the air, and yet they can affect us all so deeply and so profoundly. I'm not embarrassed to say I'm getting a little welled up just envisioning the scenario. A moment of pure love and compassion and empathy between a father and a daughter over a tragic loss, something that they both share. So that's basically the foundation for the song. It was a song that I knew I had to do right to lay this one down. I normally get the song idea, and inside of 5 minutes, from beginning to end, the verses, the chorus, all just seem to flow. I hear it fully arranged in my head. The only thing that I knew that I wanted, or thought that I wanted, was a simple, slow guitar arpeggio in the background. I originally envisioned it as a simple arrangement, and it changed over time. I put together something resembling the arpeggios I had in mind with my MIDI keyboard, and it didn't feel quite right. Brought it into the studio, spent hours, yes, hours. This one song we spent quite a bit of time on. Spent hours on it, and George and I were both so very frustrated with it. We knew that it wasn't going to get done. We knew that was just not the day for this song. And I can remember bringing home our first version of the arpeggios that sounded a little, well, a combination of the MIDI that I created was a little on the mechanical side. George tried cleaning it up and replaying parts of it, but even that felt a little mechanical, and we were kind of shooting for a haunting feeling. And it wasn't until I played the rough cut and said, we still have a lot of work on this. But I played the rough cut for Baby Girl. And she had already heard the first rough cut that I had put together myself. And she had heard the cut that we did in the studio, and God bless her, she has an amazing ability to just cut right to the chase. She goes, well, I don't know how else to describe it, but it almost sounds like a creepy, haunted merry-go-round. When I go back and listen to the track, even to this day, as we first put it down in the studio, there's really no better way to describe it. One of these days, if there's interest, and I'm feeling self-deprecating enough, I may put a link up there so you guys can hear what a train wreck it almost became. And I had set it aside for quite a while, probably. I would probably say a couple of months between when I last touched it in the studio and decided to pick up on it again. And then one day, just out of nowhere, I just got drawn over to my keyboard. Didn't have it hooked up to the computer, my old Yamaha keyboard, and I just started fiddling with some of the default backing and accompanying tracks. The percussion seemed just about right. And I went through probably a couple of dozen of the samples, different tempos, some up-tempo stuff that I brought down, some slower stuff that I brought up. And we finally found the right pace and the right piece. And all of a sudden, I just started leaning into the chord progression, and it just absolutely fell together. Even some of the stock filler you can trigger with a single click of a button on the keyboard just seemed to fit so well. I brought the keyboard into the studio, and I know that I've been really good about keeping the intros short so far on Volume 4, but this one merits a little more time, so please do indulge me. We're probably coming up on 9.5 or 10 minutes so far, and we've got a little bit to go before we actually get to the song, but I really want you guys to know everything that went into this, the background and what have you. So I brought the keyboard into the studio. I brought my MIDI cables. We hooked everything up to George's console, and for some godforsaken reason, I think it's probably by design, evil sons of guns at Yamaha, when we went to dump the recording of the MIDI sequence, everything came out on a single track. The drums, the cymbals, the piano, everything, the keypads that were built in, the chord progression, all of it came out in one single jumbo track, and it probably would have taken us a couple of days to separate everything out. So we did what we normally do not do. We cheated. I basically hooked up an audio cable from my keyboard, and we recorded it at the best quality that we could. There was some reverb that was put out by the keyboard, so it's probably sounds a little damper than it would otherwise, not quite as bright as it would have if we had actually been able to reproduce the MIDI tracks directly. So George did a little bit of surgery on that to clean that up. I went in, I laid down the vocals, and it really felt so close. Felt so close, but something was still not quite right. It needed a little more country. And other than fiddles and banjos, nothing brings a more country feel to a song than some lap steel. And George has this incredible ability. I had actually picked up a couple of bottlenecks for him for some of the slide guitar work that he's done for me, just because he's my brother from another mother. He's my magician. And I finally found one that had the right weight and feel to it, so I picked up a couple for him. This was a perfect opportunity for him to try it out. Well, we got the vocals down, we did a little tweak into the track, and then he went in and almost as if the sheet music was already laid out. One cut from beginning to end laid down the perfect accompaniment that put the cherry on top, finished this off in a way that I'm extremely proud of it. So anyway, thank you for indulging me rambling on. 1 out of 7. You got to give me 1 out of 7. Where our intro ran a little long, but this is an important song. It's one I'm extremely proud of. As much as I hate to think of the thought of a father and daughter actually having to live through this, if there were ever a situation where someone in that situation was looking for the right music for the father-daughter dance away, it's yours. Just give me a shout. We'll make it happen. Anyway, it's about time, after almost 13 minutes, that we actually get to the song. So I will wrap this up. As always, this is White Panther asking you to keep music in your hearts. And may God bless you.
Just lay your head upon my shoulder. I know you've tried so deep down inside to remember the last time that you could hold her. My baby girl, you know how much I love you so. And how every time I look in your eyes, I miss her. Today is the day I give you away. How your mom would be so proud of you. I wish that she could be here to see you taking the hand of a good man who loves you. And though it hurts me so, more than you'll ever know, I love how every time I look in your eyes, I miss her. I miss her smile.